Hi everyone, welcome back to The Grind. We're going to be talking about the second last message in this series. We are talking about the King, the Prophet.
Ooh.
And in this message that we heard over the weekend, I believe we were talking about it. I guess the topic is a hot topic, that people have a lot of views, some might actually cause, it's the end times, right? I think for some people it's like, it brings fear. For some people, they're like, yes, bring it. I'm ready for Jesus.
Get me out of this place.
I can't wait.
Yeah, and then you have some people who are just pretty ambivalent about the whole topic. So, but it's all about what's happening in the future, right? But again, if we were to look at ourselves, are we the kind of person who would rather like change the past or see the future?
I think I'm gonna choose change the past. But then, for a few reasons. One is that I feel I'm gonna be a little bit OCD with a lot of stuff.
Because you already know everything, right?
Get things a little bit more tidy. But at the same time, I don't think I will change a lot of stuff. Like some things I regret, I don't think I'll change because I think there were huge learning points.
Oh.
More like I'll fix the things that were really cringy.
But the thing is, you already basically know the knowledge now, right?
Yeah.
So going back to the past, you're just changing the other stuff.
I mean, like, you know those times where like Facebook was like, hey, here's a memory like 5 years ago, and you're like, why do I need to be reminded of this?
To bring you back
I
to
feel
earth.
it's the same thing with like the cringy stuff. But then like again, like some regrets, I'm okay with leaving it as it is. But then like one last reason why I chose change the past is actually because I don't want to know the future.
Yeah.
Mainly because I feel when I really like overanalyze it, I feel knowing the future would actually really affect my faith. I think me not knowing what's going to happen next makes it much more easier to trust in God.
Wow.
That's me overanalyzing it.
Well, for me, I think I would go in the same route as well. Just probably go back to the like do the past again, just because I already have the not fear, but like the fear of the unknown, right? In some ways, you're scared of not knowing what's gonna happen.
Bust out in the Frozen song right there into the unknown. But anyways, carry on.
But then when you realize that you start to figure out what's gonna happen in the future, you start to panic as well, because what if the future that is in store for you is something that you don't want you to be? And then you start to try to figure out things now and stuff like that. And I even feel that like the opposite of what's gonna happen, which is like I'm not gonna start trusting God because I have to figure out a way out of that situation, so exactly. For me, I would probably have the ability to go back to the past and redo some stuff is it okay to say the word dumb? The dumb stuff that I did in the past?
Dumb ways to die.
Yeah.
Right. For me, I think I want to see the future.
Wow, why?
Because shoot, I want to know what's coming, and so that I can, like, for example, if the future is good and I'm on the right trajectory, then great. If there's certain things in the future that I'm like, oh wow, this is based on my poor life decisions, then I can change how I'm living in the present. So I don't know, I think I would like to see the future. I mean, the past in a way kind of like makes you the person that you are today. So in a way, I don't necessarily want to change it. Yeah, sure, like there were painful moments and dumb things I did or smart things I did, but I mean, all of that made me into who I am today, right? So in a way,
but then in that sense, right, like everything that made you as a person now was the outcome of your past, but going back to the past doesn't sort of erase the knowledge that you have now.
That's why I don't want to go back to the past. I want to see the future, so that way I see what's coming, then I can, all right, I'm on the right track. Or if I don't change my life choices, then I'm going to be, in a worse situation, that kind of thing. So that's what I
get you.
Would prefer to see the future. And I mean, some people, they kind of want to know when Jesus is coming back. I mean, it'll be helpful for us, I guess. So we know, like, I guess if he's coming back then next year, I guess, well, let's go travel. Let's go spend our money. Like, that's it, right?
Wow.
He's coming,
At least we know what you're going to do with your life after that.
I mean,
why is Pet going on vacation for 3 months?
Because
she knows something we don't. We have to talk to her since she's the one who wished that she knows the future.
Yeah. So, I mean, we did talk about this. Like, what would we do if we only have 1 week left to live, right? I think we talked about this a couple episodes ago. So, yeah. So that'll be helpful.
Yeah.
Or if Jesus is coming back in, not my lifetime, then okay, I guess do I live differently? That kind of thing. Like,
Yes.
I think you sense a different sense of urgency.
Yeah.
When
You know something.
Something.
Yes.
Like when Jesus is coming back
Yeah.
or when he's.
It's almost like your friends, like your colleagues tell you, like, oh, the boss is coming here next week. Oh, I gotta do something, and then like try to figure out things now and
Yeah.
stuff.
So interestingly enough, like approximately 25% of the Bible is devoted to prophecies concerning future events, and more than 1,000 passages concerning the second coming of Jesus. So I mean, it is a very frequently mentioned topic.
Yeah.
And so, where did you first learn about the concept of the end times, and how did it make you feel?
For me, it's more of like my parents, actually mainly my mom has these like time where they would like go in circles and then they're just chatting with her sisters, and then for some reason they'll just end up talking about the end times, and as a kid I would hear everything and then you start to freak you out. So for me it's like more of like realizing like because what they usually talk about is not the coming of God. Well, of course they will talk about Jesus coming, but for kids you would focus on like, oh, the 7 trumpets will sound, there will be like famines, wars and stuff like that. So it sort of scares you as a child. So so I was quite scared about when it comes to the end times.
For me, I think I was first exposed to the end times through I think it's a movie, Left Behind.
Oh, the
And-
one with Cameron, is it?
No,
Nicolas
Casper.
Cage.
No, Casper Van Dien. Nicolas
I
Cage
thought
was
so.
not involved with this.
No, there's a remake which is the Nicolas Cage one. I'm
Oh.
talking. I think
I
you're talking
saw
about
that
the
one.
older. Oh, okay.
I
There's
saw
an
the
even
Nicolas
older
Cage
one.
The Nicolas Cage one.
I think.
The original version is with Casper Van Dien.
Yeah, I've that one I've watched.
I watched one of them. Yeah.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, carry on. So that's where you.
Yeah, that's where I kind of first heard of it. Yeah,
How did it make you feel?
spooked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, I was so young. I don't remember how young I was. But yeah.
Oh, and I also remember there used to be these church booklets
Oh yeah.
that talk about the end times, and then they have like this very visual like comic strips
Yeah, it's
showing
like
about,
fire and everything.
and then
right?
you'll see like the planes falling because a pilot went missing and stuff like that.
Gosh.
Yeah, honestly, the end times when portrayed to us as children was a very scary moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's maybe not like, yeah, it's scary. Like the Nicolas Cage on a movie Left Behind on IMDb is 3.1 out of 10.
Oh wow.
12% of Metacritic, and it's the summary is as bloody anarchy reigns on Earth, supposedly because of the rapture. Chloe and her father, whom she suspects is cheating on her devoutly Christian mother, struggles to survive. So it's yeah. Honestly, that was how I learned about the end times was also through that kind of vibe, Left Behind. And for me, I hate being left behind.
Oh yeah, me too.
Like I hate being left out or whatever. So
Yeah.
I think the idea of being left behind, I was like, no, I don't want to be left
Yeah,
behind.
it's usually that mindset, right? Like
Yeah.
when you talk about the end of the age,
Yeah.
it's more of like the end of the age.
Yeah.
The end times is more of like rapture. That's the
Yeah.
first thing that you would think
Yeah.
about, being left behind and stuff
Yeah.
like that. You don't want to be there.
Yeah, I'm scared, and I was like, oh, that means. So in a sense, like I had the fear mindset, like, oh, I better say the sinner's prayer. I better do all of
Yeah.
this so that I don't get left behind. It's
Yeah.
not out of like love or like
Yeah,
Yeah.
sort of like in the essence, like it's because now I look at it in a more triumphant sort
Yeah.
of aspect, meaning
Yeah.
like because this is the time where Jesus is gonna really sort of like. It's like the time when you look. I mean, like we know that Jesus has won the battle. It's just more of
Yeah.
like in that image, you can see how Satan's gonna be defeated
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
like that. So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it was not. Yeah, I was scared. And the whole idea of living forever just also scared me too, because it's like, what am I gonna do for the rest of my life? Like it wasn't like a sense of like, yay, I get to live forever. It's more
Yeah.
like, am I gonna be bored? Like, or the kind of like, it's just like a sinking feeling. Like, is there purpose?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah. Now, the end times is basically like, okay, Jesus is coming back, but do you believe Jesus would come back soon?
Yeah, I would say in some ways. I mean, like it's a slow burn, but I do believe that he's coming
It's
soon.
been slow burn for 2,000 years is
Yeah.
what it is.
But I do believe he's coming because I mean, like there are some signs. Like that shows already, and he gave sort of like these warnings as well, and there are some of the warnings actually that you don't see before that are showing slowly now and even more prominent. So you can tell that it's coming soon. Is it in our time? We don't know, but yeah, I would say it's soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no clue. I feel my honest opinion is that I hope he's not coming too soon. a bit for more for a selfish reason, because I kind of want to experience life a little bit more.
State of denial.
He wants to experience life. It's gonna begin right tomorrow.
No, I mean, like, let me just make it clear. It's just more in the essence of like for example, we were discussing about like false. What do you call it? A false.
False prophet.
No. What was that term?
False
Fake
sense of
news.
reality.
No, when there are, when you're in the process of giving birth, there is a season where there is like false contractions and stuff.
Oh, right.
What was the term?
I wouldn't know.
Anyway, it's just
I
a
have no
false.
experience giving birth. I don't know.
No, it was discussed there. I forgot the term. Anyway, yeah, there's these
False alarms.
Yeah, false. Oh, thank you so much.
Finally got there.
So yeah, there are false alarms already, and usually false alarms happen somewhere in the later part of the pregnancy. I mean, that's how I look at it.
Oh wow, he's using that example. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, like, I'm just remembering also the time when Rachel was pregnant. The false alarms were happening somewhere in the end of the quarter of the pregnancy.
Oh.
So if we put it in that way, then
I've never thought about it that way
That's a
before.
nice-
Wow, Rico.
Daddy Rico.
and then you realize that your baby just came out 1 month before, and then yay,
I mean, then Jesus could be coming back
1 month
pretty
early
soon. 1 month early.
than we expected.
Well, I mean, you know how sometimes when people say, "Oh, when's this gonna happen?" Soon, and soon is like so relative, right? It could
Yes,
be soon
of
for
course,
for
of
you.
course.
It could be not soon for another person. What is the definition of soon? And so, like 1 year, it could be like a second in the eyes of Jesus. So it's hard to say when Jesus will come back.
And then you look at it also in the aspect like when Jesus was saying the second coming is soon and stuff like that. You always think like, come on, Jesus, like, you're not relative to time, like, you're beyond time. So what is soon for you?
Yeah.
In that sense.
Yeah. So I don't know. Will Jesus come back soon? I also honestly don't know how to answer that question too. And like you mentioned about the false alarms, right? So, and there are different false alarms, like Messiah, people claiming the Messiah. There's wars and rumors of wars, and it's natural disasters, but these are not technically the end times. So I mean,
Yes,
like
they're
I know
not.
some people are like, oh, why? Like people think that the end times is so soon because they look at this false alarms, like, well, because of all of this, and yeah, it is the end times. But it is actually, according to the word, beginning of the birth pains. So yeah, it's not necessarily ding 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 ding.
Yeah.
It's here.
Yeah.
So I think the emphasis is that it's not about the time, because I think if we focus on like when Jesus is coming back, you're missing the whole heart of it, because then you're just focusing on like, okay, if Jesus is coming back then I'll just have to do this and this, and then that's it. But I think it's really how to be prepared for the coming of Jesus, like how are we
Yeah.
living our life faithfully.
Yeah.
So like it was compared to the days of Noah, and I don't know, like the days of Noah was like the flood, and people were just lawlessness and everything, right? So yeah, I mean, they were warned. But
Yeah.
then at the end of the day, they were
Yeah.
bye.
Just ignored it. Yeah.
So I guess something to think about today is how can we live our life faithfully,
Wow.
knowing all of this.
I think what was mentioned in the sermon and what you just said, Pat, right, is like it's not about the time, but how to be prepared for the coming of Jesus. When I heard that, I was like, the first thing that popped in my mind was this quote from Lord of the Rings, because I love Lord of the Rings.
Really?
Couldn't
You
tell.
think?
Not at all.
But it was like there was a point where like Frodo was saying like he didn't want the ring. He's like, I wish it never came to me. And then in response, Gandalf said, he goes,
So do all who live to see such times, but that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us.
Wow.
I love that line so much. And so like I guess one way to kind of like have an idea of what to do, I think, right? I think we were talking about this also separately, that, you know, end times is not now. End times began when Jesus left the earth, right?
Oh yeah,
I think
yeah.
he said that.
Yeah.
Right? And so I guess look back to that, right? What happened then was, I think, follow the disciples. What did they do? I feel that's kind of like the idea of what we should strive for.
Yeah.
That's good. And I think also like what you said regarding like it's not about the time, but how do we really practice our like how do we live our lives during this season as well. And sometimes when we think about time and then we realize that, oh, God is coming soon. I mean, like, I'm saying this because I've had this experience, like in terms of how I lived my life during that season, where was more of like a self-preservation. Like I'm trying to do the right things. I'm trying to make myself like sort of holy in my own mindset to be part of that rapture. You get what I mean? But later did I understand a bit more about how do you actually live your life during these time where it is for me personally, I feel like we are in the age where we still have to have that alertness to be ready, and that preparation leads to more of like, how are you going to be able to reach out more to other people the faster you can, and be able to talk to them and talk about Jesus, talk about the gospel, and tell them. I mean, like, I'm not going to tell them like, repent because the end is near, but it's more of like, right now we still have time. Well, I don't know if we have time, but right now we have this season where we can just reach out to them and talk to them and say like, you know, God really loves you and we love you, and it's the reason why we're talking to you about these things. And we want to be we want you to be part of it. So I think for me it's just steering towards that sort of preparation as well. And of course with our heart also being reminded to have the right heart and mindset as well during the season. So yeah.
I mean, as a church, we can always grow in evangelism, right? Like, and I think we can always grow in like telling people the good news. And I know it's scary to tell people the good news. And I mean, how can I live my life faithfully as well? Is basically tuning into what God's saying. Like, how God, what do you want me to do today? What are you speaking to me today? And because I think if I get so fixated, if I saw the future and know when Jesus would come back, I mean, that would definitely change many things, like how I do things. Like, for example, if he is coming back tomorrow, I mean, I don't know, right? Like, where would I be? Who would I choose to spend time with? Or would it be more self-focused, or would it be more outward focused?
Yeah, that's very true.
So I think it's okay to kind of just, you know, be worried about the end times. I think I think if you have that sense of like fear or being afraid, I mean, I think it's normal. It's a human response. But you shouldn't let that dictate or overwhelm you and kind of like tell you what to do. Because if I'm going to be letting fear and anxiety rule my actions, oh, Jesus is coming back soon, I better like do this. Then you're always going to be on the edge. So I think everything that we do should be out of like, you know, the love, like, I'm looking forward to being with Jesus again. I'm looking forward to him coming back. It's going to be glorious. It's going to be great. But until then, how can I live my life that's pleasing unto the Lord? How can I live my life where it shows my love for him? And how can I live my life to brings glory to him and bring worship to him? So I think, you know, you're having the right perspective in this season. Yes, I don't know when Jesus is coming back. I know he's coming back sooner than later. If anything, it's just, I want to live my life that brings him glory. So
I like that.
I know it's scary, right? No one has any idea what's going to happen. But
when you were talking about it, the first thing that came in my mind is like, when it comes to the end times, it's better to look at it in the aspect of an invitation to people as opposed to it being an escape for yourself.
Exactly.
So like escape in the essence of like, I have to do this, I have to do that so I can be part of that rapture, instead of doing it as an invitation of having the people like you want to be part of a banquet, like the heavenly banquet and stuff like that, just come join us like that.
Exactly.
So
I feel like also like what kind of distinguishes some people is that like there are some who are doing it because they love Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's also maybe a small group that are also just doing it so they can get to heaven.
Oh,
Yeah.
like
They don't
tick
want
the box
They
list.
don't want to go to hell.
Hell.
They don't
Yeah.
want the alternative, so
Yeah,
they
yeah.
went with that. Yeah.
I mean,
That's basically out of fear, like what you
yeah,
were
yeah,
saying.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
fire insurance, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Fire insurance. That was good.
all right, but yeah, I think, yeah, let's not focus on the like the win, but focus on like how can we live our lives for Jesus. And yeah.
That's good.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the time we have today. Thanks for joining us in this, I guess, thought-provoking / a little bit tough
Yes.
conversation.
Yeah.
And we will catch you at our next grind.
Bye.
Bye.